Greeting advisor and friend. We are the team The Green Mushroom, and this video will show you what our product is about and the current features that we have implemented. We have changed the name of the app from We Plan For You into SingaPlanner. The purpose is to provide the tourists with an ideal schedule that they can easily follow. And as for this version, we are only able to generate trips for a small number of places in Singapore. Our current scope is still Singapore and our users are tourists, but we are not restricting users to just tourists. Local users can also use our app to look for interesting places by going through our database. Continuing from our last milestone, we have added more features to the app. Firstly, adding to our homepage, we provide a PowerToon presentation of the app so that the user can be more familiar with the purpose of the app. We choose PowerToon thanks to its cartoonish nature to make our app more friendly and lively. And moving on to the planner page. As you can see from the planner page, we have not improved much since the last milestone. At first, we intended to extend this page so that there's a section to display some popular places beside the map. However, we are unable to achieve that in this milestone. We aim to implement this feature before the splashdown. Now moving on to the option of the tool, we have date and time, and for this feature we have improved by adding a time factor to the picker, the date time picker. And the validation rule is still applied for these two fields. And for this, we also take into the consideration of the custom procedure and time taken for the user to go from the airport to the hotel. Hence, we added a buffer of 4-hour time from the arrival of to start the tour, and the same goes for departure time. The tour will stop 4 hours before the departure time, and we will explain this feature with example later. Validation rules still apply for these two form field. And moving on to the budget, as you can see, you can fill in the total budget on the top, and the subsequent the breakdown of the budget will be automatically calculated. You can also slide the bar to allocate the budget to each category individually. As of now, we have not taken into the consideration of the budget so far. However, we aim to use this input to provide suggestion of hotels, for example, so that the user can choose from. As of now, we have only chosen a fixed hotel as a starting point. And moving on to the preference option, we have two fields. One is the base of the trip and the other one is the style. So for the page field, we use the information to determine how long the user should spend on a certain place. In our database, we have a suggested duration for each place. So if the user choose slow pace, for example, then we will extend that duration or shorten it if the user choose fast or even hectic. For style field, we use the information to prioritize the places that the user should visit. Since we are determining each place credit based on these categories, if the user choose say culture, then for this field, then those places that have a high value in culture will be prioritized. And moving on to the miscellaneous tab, we have options so that the user can choose from to indicate whether they are traveling with handicapped members, elderly, infant or children. And when the user are done with all input, they can press the generate button to generate a trip for them. As you can see from this result page, we have the trip on the left and a Google map on the right, which have the marker of the places that included on the tour on one day. So as mentioned before, we take into the consideration of the buffer time, and we leaving the hotel, which is the Forest by Wangs, at 10:25 on the first date. Starting point of each day will be the hotel where the users stay, and between each place there is a travel direction, which when you click on it, it will show the Google Map direction result. And there's also a direction panel on the right, which you can toggle on and off. And since the direction and since we are using the direct request to the Google Maps JavaScript API, this may take a while before the directions can be shown. And the user can then move between each day of the stay in Singapore to see if they plan trip. For the beginning of each day, the user will depart from their hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning. We also mark places with suggested after 8 o'clock in the evening in red to remind the user that upon visiting those places, it may be late for public transport to get back to their hotel. And as for this version of the app, we are using public transportation as our main mode of transportation. And we also notice that since we are expanding our database of places, there can be a possibility that we run out of places to suggest, and we catch that such. And next is another focus of our app, the attraction page, which hold the information of the places. This attraction page which holds the information of places we have in our database, and this allows the user to get the information of certain places, for example arrow green technology, and we aim to implement it a way of displaying this kind of information as a pop-over window on either the result page or the planner page, so that the user can get the information on the fly while they are making their trip. But for this version we are unable to do so. We are improving on this by providing more information and a way to display the information that is intuitive and user-friendly to the users. And lastly, we have a contact us page which introduces who we are and what we do. There's also a feedback section which allows the user to anonymously send the feedback to us. We can then improve our app based on this feedback given, and the feedback will be sent to our email as a mail. And this concludes our app at this point in time. However, we are still expanding our database and improving on the app with more features. And one of them is provide the hotel option to choose from based on the user given budget.